TV. Start saving for your golden years with a Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock. Coming up in the news at 7, Integrity Commission report anxiety. Commission's annual report to be tabled. DPP's attorney argues gender bias on final day of Court of Appeal hearings. And opposition senators object to finance bill in the upper house.
Also this evening, calls for urgent rehabilitation of prisons and lockups. We'll explain why. In the business report, it's Feelgood finances. And in sports, action continues in Copa America. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm TK Dawkins.
And I'm Curlin Brown. It's Friday, June 28, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us for what will be a shortened broadcast to make way for our continued live Copa America coverage. The Integrity Commission's highly anticipated 2023-2024 annual report is set to be tabled next Tuesday in Parliament. Now, last year's report sparked controversy, revealing investigations into 32 public officials, including 6 parliamentarians.
This has remained a contentious issue, particularly for the Holness administration. Both government and opposition leaders have denied involvement, but tensions are high as the nation awaits further details. Our reporter, Ramon Gordon, has the latest.
The Integrity Commission's 2023-2024 annual report will be tabled next Tuesday in the lower house. Last year's report inspired storied controversy after it was revealed that 32 public officials were referred for investigation, among them the now infamous illicit 6 parliamentarians. Since last year, the unnamed 6 have remained a sore point for the Holness administration. In January, opposition leader Mark Golding said the government's unwillingness to allow each of its members to declare their status with the IC indicates that Holness has something to hide. Both leaders are on the record denying involvement from anyone in their ranks. Government members have criticized the IC's approach to handling its probe of politicians accused of illegality. Here's the Constitutional Affairs Minister at an Integrity Commission Oversight Committee meeting back in January.
Merely indicating that categories of declarants are under investigation without more has created issues of have not really inured to the benefit of the Commission or the integrity of the system. And if you track the questions and comments in the public domain, there are serious issues.
Ford has been notably joined by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, who has consistently asked for the Integrity Commission's illicit 6 to be named.
Everybody asks me, I see on the street, are you one of the 6? It's not fair, Chairman. They need to clear this thing up.
The decision to table the latest IC report next week seems to represent an about face from a decision by the House Speaker last November, where she ruled that annual and special reports from the anti-corruption body would first go to its Oversight Committee for deliberation before being tabled. Earlier this year, Speaker Holness yielded to public pressure and tabled 2 Auditor General reports that had been held by Parliament for over 2 months. Now, all eyes will turn to Gordon House next week for the IC's latest report on corruption locally. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
Embattled Director of Public Prosecution Paula Llewellyn could return from her self-imposed hiatus by September as the Court of Appeal prepares to issue its ruling. Llewellyn stepped aside in April after a lower court deemed her second tenure extension unconstitutional. Now, on Friday, government and opposition attorneys submitted final arguments, with the former suggesting gender may be at the center of the embroil. Natalia Clark wraps up the 5-day hearing.
Paula Llewellyn, Jamaica's first female director of public prosecutions. She's been hailed a trailblazer in the local legal fraternity, serving the office since 2008. In the past year, however, she's been in the midst of a political tussle as the opposition People's National Party is accusing the Jamaica Labour Party-led government of amending the constitution to facilitate her second tenure extension. The bill, moving the retirement age of the DPP and Auditor General to 65, was brought to Parliament last year, months before she was set to demit office. It also provided the option to retire any time after age 60. Months after this amendment was passed, the latter was ruled unlawful in the Supreme Court, and Llewellyn's extended tenure was called into question, forcing her to step away as the government appeals the ruling. On Friday, the final day of the Court of Appeal hearing, her lawyer, King's Counsel Douglas Lays, suggested that her gender may be a factor in efforts to remove her from office. He points to the PNP's request for the court to rule that DPP Llewellyn not benefit from the increased retirement age. Lays says that if the court agrees, it should be wary of a potential conflict with Section 13(3)(I) of the Constitution, which allows for the right to freedom from gender-based discrimination. Soon after, the senior attorney urged the three-judge panel to pay special attention to that. King's Counsel Michael Hilton was on his feet dismissing the claim. He insists the incumbent's gender has nothing to do with this case, and the fact is that Parliament amended the law for an improper purpose and breached separation of powers. Hilton says the chronology clearly shows the goal was to extend the tenure of the incumbent and urges the Court of Appeal to consider these points. A decision as to if DPP Llewellyn will remain as the nation's Director of Public Prosecutions is expected around September 2024 when the new court term begins. That's right around the time acting DPP Claudette Thompson's 6-month stint is set to end. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
Also on Friday, opposition senators raised concerns over a new finance bill to be tabled in the Senate. The Financial Institutions Resolutions Winding Up Act of 2024 is designed to address failing financial institutions. But a potential constitutional issue sparked debate. Ramon Gordon gives us the details.
Which minister here has responsibility for this portfolio under which the Financial Institutions Resolution Winding Up Act comes?
On Friday, opposition senators objected to the tabling of a new bill under the island's finance minister. The Financial Institutions Resolutions Winding Up Act of 2024 is designed to outline procedures for shuttering non-viable financial institutions that could significantly disrupt the economy. But today, Senator Brown highlighted a potential constitutional issue, arguing that the bill should be tabled where the finance minister sits.
As senators, we have to be zealous in guarding the Constitution. And if a bill comes under the name of a minister who sits in another place, it is our duty to ask whether that conforms with the Constitution.
Though the bill would be tabled in the Senate, the minister would lead the debate on the matter in the lower house. Government Senator Aubin Hill explained that the move to table the bill prior to that was to meet with an IMF deadline, as Dr. Nigel Clark is away in Singapore on government business. Even so, Brown mounted objection.
We were brought here, I am told, for this to be tabled. But the proper place to table this would be where the minister with portfolio responsibility sits.
The acting clerk has indicated to all of us, and I'm certain Senator Brown would have heard it, that it is not a money bill. The standing orders that we have and we practice under allows under standing order 48 for what is being done, to be done. And it is supported by the Constitution.
We will not refrain from asking whether it is constitutionally proper for a bill in the name of a minister in the other place to start it. Unless the intention is To do this here, let the IMF believe that it has been, pull it back, and then table it down there, which kind of sound a little, sorry, I hate to say Trumpish, but...
The bill in question will be introduced and read for the first time at the next sitting of the Upper House. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
There are calls from the legal fraternity for conditions in local prisons and lockups to be improved following the circulation of a video alleging and highlighting less than ideal current states. Natalia Clark has the details.
This video has been making the rounds on social media. It purports to be inside one of Jamaica's state-run prisons, featuring walls encrusted with layers of grime and mildew and the clearest indication of neglect. It's not the first time a video like this has surfaced, which is why Defense Attorney Alessandra Labeach is calling for urgent rehabilitation of prisons and lockups locally.
We need to do better, because the fact of the matter is not everyone who enters into the lockups or the prisons are guilty, especially for the lockups. Their innocence or guilt has not yet been determined, and I think that there needs to be better conditions.
Labeach, who frequently hears the first-hand accounts from her clients about the dire conditions of these facilities, explains that a significant roadblock in addressing this long-standing issue is the inability of independent stakeholders to visit and publicize their findings.
I hope that over time it is something that the relevant players will look into and restore dignity onto these persons, because I hope that the aim of the system is to reintegrate persons back into society after they've been away for whatever period of time. And if you have degraded someone that much and then you put them back into society, I don't believe that that would be the best. They could be their best selves after that.
Understanding the limitations of our growing economy and that detention centers aren't meant to be bed of roses, she's adamant more can be done.
Some persons, they say, I did the crime, I do the time, and you just serve your time. But even those persons, I strongly feel, should have a sense of at least comfort. It doesn't have to be 5-star, any star that is saying that, they're home and they're free and they're not supposed to. I don't think that your conditions must be a part of your sentence, the prison conditions. That is my strong and fervent belief.
This issue was recently raised in the Court of Appeal hearing for Vibes Startel and his 3 co-appellants, where they argued their constitutional rights to humane treatment based on conditions at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center were being breached. Senior Superintendent in the Department of Correctional Services, Leslie Campbell, in an affidavit, however, refuted the claims.
If an inmate can indicate that they are willing to have someone come in and assess their conditions and put it out there, then they should not be deprived of that, because something needs to be done. If assertions are made by persons who are in custody that this is my situation and it is subpar and I don't believe I am treated fairly or humanely, some kind of investigation must be triggered.
Natalia Clark, CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues in a moment.
surprise June end of month blowout. 6 days of non-stop saving June 24 to 29. Up to 20% off on toilets, slat wall, BH paints and doors. And amazing deals on everything else.
You can't lose that new budget.
Come see us now at New Budget Supplies, 195 Hagley Park Road.
May I go down there right now?
Call us today, 9234560. Don't miss out on these unbelievable savings.
You can't lose with New Budget.
The new KFC Chizza Zinger. Crispy, spicy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella cheese, and pepperoni in a brioche bun. Available for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Hey, how was school?
It was really good, but I'm really hungry. Can we get some juicy patties?
Sure we can. I never see a boil up patty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating over 40 years of everyday moments.
Welcome back. As we wrap up business this week, we take a look at a story of goodwill and generosity in Feel Good Finances.
The Burrito Foundation's commitment to empowering communities and shaping a brighter future for young minds is nothing short of inspiring. Led by Executive Director Tankita Shantz Wilson, the foundation is consistently transformative.
Burrito Foundation has been contributing to community development and, by extension, national development for over 2 decades. We expanded our work quite recently as the Cornerstone Burrito group grew. So did our outreach and our support to the communities. So we have 3 main pillars: education and youth development, entrepreneurship, and health and well-being. So we try to be very targeted in our work.
Reflecting on the significant investments made so far, Wilson emphasized the foundation's strategic approach to nurturing talent and fostering growth.
It's quite a bit of money, quite a bit of funds, right? So our scholarship program would have been close to about 20 million over the last couple of years. But this sort of investment that went into the earlier programs, in the numeracy and literacy program, I think it's just immeasurable because that stays with the teachers. That does not leave, they said, there's a saying about your education will never decay. And so they're properly resourced to be able to deliver that training and that education to our children.
The foundation believes in working hand in hand with like-minded organizations and stakeholders, holding true to the saying that no man is an island.
Nobody can do this kind of work alone, and we all live and share this space called Jamaica, this landmass called Jamaica, and we're proud people, but we are a people. We're not, an individual person, and so every effort requires buy-in and support of others. Some of our collaborators and partners, I spoke about the Early Childhood Commission, very important to us because the work that they're doing is just remarkable, but they need the support and the funding of Corporate Jamaica. So we really value their partnership. The Ministry of Education, obviously, because we are doing scholarships, and so we have to ensure that we are providing support. The support aligns with the need.
At the end of the day, she noted that it is within the company's ethos to give back.
There's an internal ethos that drives the work that Burrito does, both as a corporation and as a company that is that really believes in corporate social responsibility, and that is to make a change and a positive impact in people's lives. They talk about revolutionizing investments and wealth and making it more accessible and more democratizing the process as well. And it's the same thing for access and equity. We want to ensure that we create spaces and avenues where our communities can grow and thrive, And in order to do so, you have to reach individuals.
A cornerstone of the Burrito Foundation's work lies in its transformative initiatives with schools, where the seeds of knowledge, creativity, and opportunity are lovingly nurtured.
Trisha Gay now takes us through a hot topic on social media.
So what's trending online today? Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn's lawyer, King's Counsel Douglas Lays, is arguing that the People's National Party's effort to remove her from office may be motivated by gender bias. He made the argument on Friday in the Court of Appeal, which is now deciding if she has a legal right to the office after the retirement age was increased by the government last year. Here's how the public is responding to this news. At Everblessed Plum writes, after all these years, this makes no sense at all. At St. Hugh 1979 Mon comments, Paula, you knew years ago the retirement age, so you should have prepared for it. Why fight it now? And that's what's trending in our local social media spaces today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM_television on Instagram. I'm Trisha Gay Kelly.
And a look now at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. In Barbados, planes were diverted and grounded for a few hours today at the Grantley Adams International Airport after a Cessna plane had an eventful landing on the runway. Authorities at the airport say it was not a crash and all operations have resumed. Here's the CBC.
It was about 10:40, according to the officials of the Grantley Adams International Airport, when the Cessna aircraft landed without its landing gear down. The plane, registration N42821, was coming from St. Lucia with 2 passengers along with the pilot on board when the incident happened. Police and Barbados Fire Service officers were among the emergency officials who responded. Corporate communications specialist at Gaia Inc., Charlene Brown, explained what took place.
Landing gear of private aircraft, a 4-seater inbound from St. Lucia to Barbados, appeared to not deploy. It is on the ground safely here on the runway at Gaia, and this happened at 10:40 a.m. There were 2 passengers and 1 pilot aboard, and everyone is safe. You can also confirm that the runway is currently closed, as you mentioned, until the Civil Aviation Authority and the Barbados Police.
We now make way for sports with Angelique. Stay with us.
King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best, you are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome, that's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way, the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh fun. Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
Take your safety.